is this a real warranty or not?
The industry's changing a lot, and we believe that innovation helps homeowners and contractors alike.
Welcome everybody to the Patrick Carr Show. Got a very special two guests here with me right now, coming from TAMKO. Y'all have had questions about HAIL GAURD. Shoot, we're about to get them all answered by these two guys. Got Chris, got Jon. Stick around for this one, everybody. Chris, maybe this question is directed at you first. Has TAMKO gone out there and defined what hail damage is? And with this warranty you have, are we really starting now in this industry to give a warranty to hail damage?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good question, especially based on some of the feedback. And I think the short answer is no. We're not out defining it for insurance companies or for the industry. We're really just defining it based on the performance of our product, right? And in fact, I know that some of these things can be difficult to read and difficult to understand. And so we have gone out, and you can see it on our website. We've updated the language to just be more clear. Coverage is still the same, but the language hopefully reads easier for people. But I'll just kind of give a simple definition. The way I look at it, the HAIL GAURD limited system warranty covers leaks caused by hail 3 inches in diameter or less.
So help me then understand. You've got a great product in the Titan Storm Fighter Flex. Why the need to come out with a product like this? Where does it come from, gentlemen?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'll just speak from, the product development side and the innovation side. It really comes from our desire of continuous improvement and to continue to innovate on the products that we have, right? So you have the traditional class 3 and class 4 impact ratings. But when you look at those, we kind of looked at it and said, okay, I think the industry, especially with, the amount of hail that you're getting and the amount of damage and the cost that it relates to, homeowners and insurance, there was an opportunity there for us to fill what frankly, what we saw as a market gap, right? And so it really started with going back and saying, okay, how do we create a product that can really perform at a level, and you'll hear us talk about beyond class 4, but perform at a level that can withstand hail. And that's a challenge, right? And always has been. And so when we started back and looking at it, it was not only a question of how do we withstand hail at day 0, fresh out of the package, but how do we also do it year 5, 10, 15, and beyond, right? Because that's really what people are looking for, is that protection, not just the day it's put on your house, but throughout the lifespan of what you expect. So to put it simply, that's really what we focused on, and that's what you'll see is driven into the product through what we're calling impact core technology.
I appreciate that. I do believe that some people, when they initially saw the product, I saw in the groups, were nervous about the fact that, within the warranty that TAMKO saw, they felt like they were defining what hail damage was, and therefore they may be giving some ammunition over to the carriers to say, okay, if TAMKO, a major manufacturer, is not willing to cover something, then we're not going to be willing to cover it either. And so what you saw is, I think, some people getting a little bit riled up about that and a little bit nervous, not because it's not a great product, but because they were worried about what it could look like in the future for roofing contractors. Did you see the same thing? And you said a minute ago that there was an adjustment that might have been made for clarification. Can you just dive right back into that, if that's okay?
Yeah, sure. No, so I mean, the clarification we made was just to, again, add clarity to what we were covering, right? And I think a lot of the clarification had to do with, is this a real warranty or not? And the reality of it is, it's a real warranty because it's backed by real science. Insurance has their agreements and what they're going to cover and what they're going to look at. But again, our warranty covers, leaks that are caused by hail 3 inches in diameter or less. And so it's really a functional need. And that's what the product is designed and able to do. But in reality, I will tell you that the product performance, when we look at it, is able to do much more than that. And so we're excited that once contractors and homeowners and folks in our industry are able to get their hands on the product, which is available today, and able to start to touch, see, feel, look at the performance of it, we're confident that they're going to be able to see why this is backed by a warranty, because it is uniquely different in terms of how it'll perform on the roof.
Patrick, I was going to say, I've had calls from contractors already, and it was a wow factor. It wasn't talking about a warranty, it was talking about product performance. They're like, this is truly different. We're hitting this thing with hammers and things, and the granules are not coming off. I mean, so it is real product performance. That's what we've based everything on.
And so let me add a little bit of substance to that, right? Because I don't want it to sound like I'm just kind of hitting around. So let me give you an idea of what the testing for this looks like, right?
Please.
So the standard IBHS test is a 2-inch ice ball shot at about 65 miles per hour, which is effectively terminal velocity for 2-inch hail. Okay, and there's certain compression and density factors that you take a look at, but they'll shoot it one time. And then you measure for dents and you try to see, do you see a crack? Do you see a dent? Do you see granule loss? All that kind of thing. Okay. When we did the testing for this, we didn't just hit it one time. What we would do is we would take a deck and we would hit it with repeated impacts with a 2-inch stone until we would see either granule movement or breakage. And I will tell you, so we did another round of testing last week. We did it off of the material that we had just fully produced. And on average, it took 8 impacts in the same location to see any kind of granule movement. And then it took 10 total impacts on average to see what we would consider a break. So when you start thinking about that, and that's on a totally flat deck. So that's a worst case scenario, absorbing all of the force, right? That force impact is going to get dissipated once you get to a 412, 812, 1212 pitch, right? So we're doing it under multiple layers of robustness to really be able to ensure that the product performance matches what we're saying about the product. And that's what I think people will see when they get their hands on it.
We're going to be right back to that podcast. But if you didn't know, I own Blue Collar Media Group, the #1 video marketing system for roofing contractors. So it doesn't matter if you work with TAMKO or even another manufacturer, we would love to help take your roofing business to another level. So please get in touch with me at bluecollarmediagroup.com. My name is Patrick, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. But for now, let's get back to that podcast.
Jon, my question for you is: you're getting these calls from contractors, and they're telling you that it's different. What is it about it that they're telling you is different? Is it the feel? Is it the weight? Is it the look? Like, what about this product when you get your hands on it is different than your typical, let's say, Class 3 shingle out there?
It is a little heavier for sure. I think the noticeable difference is when you take, let's say, a hammer or an object and you strike a shingle and try to simulate hail damage, what you notice on a standard asphalt shingle is granule loss immediately. And with this shingle, you're not seeing that. And if there's any granule at all, it's very, very minimal. So the granule adhesion, from what I'm seeing from the field, is substantially better.
Okay, so let me push back on this a little bit, because I think I'd be dishonest to the viewer if I didn't ask this question. There are some out there, Chris, Jon, that are going to say, listen, there's no way in the world you can tell me what this product is going to do in 20 years because you haven't had it out there for 20 years. And they may even say that I don't trust the brand because of what I've heard in the past. Yep. I'd like you to address how are we looking 20 years in the future, and why should a contractor right now believe in the TAMKO brand more than ever?
Yep. Can
you address that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair question, and it's a good question, right? So let me answer the latter one first, then I'll come back to the aging component. And I think what you're alluding to, kind of with some of the TAMKO questions, right? That's a lot of feedback that we've gotten in the field, 10, 15 years ago, and that feedback is really what spurred the technological, I would call it the kind of the technological revolution, if you will, but our adjustment that really fed into the development into ProLine products, right? So all of that kind of stuff started with the feed into Titan, which launched back in 2021. And then we take that and we built on top of it, and that fed into Stormfighter Flex. And then it ultimately has evolved into HAIL GAURD. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure it's really important for us that our products do what we say they're going to do, right? Our mantra is built on high performance, innovation, and credibility. And the last one is the most important, because the first two don't matter if you don't have the third, right? So in full disclosure, that feedback is really what drove the innovations, right? So let me go to the first question. Well, how can you be sure? There are various accelerated measuring tools that we have. Some are industry standard, others are proprietary that we've purchased over the last several years that allow us to accelerate aging in a variety of different manners.
I'm curious because you mentioned the Stormfighter Flex product, and also out on the west, let's say Denver, a Colorado type area. In this product, does it still have that cold weather install that Stormfighter Flex does, or is that going to be exclusively the 25-degree install going to be a Storm Fighter Flex deal?
Yeah, no, great question. And the short answer is yes, it does.
Wow.
For us, and I think what you'll notice is as we build on all of our products, good, better, best, right? You go from Heritage to Titan. Titan gives you that 160 mile an hour wind warranty. Then when you build on top of that with Flex, Flex is quite literally built on a Titan chassis, meaning we take literally, if you were to remove the polymer modified package from Stormfighter Flex, you literally have Titan. The two of us could go out to Phillipsburg, Kansas, where both are made, and we can go from making Titan to Flex and back to Titan, and we would never know when it happens, right? So we're literally taking all of the good properties that we have from Titan, 160 mile an hour wind warranty, and then we add on top of that for Flex, which gets us our Class 4 rating and 25-degree install. HAIL GAURD then is effectively built on a Flex chassis. So we take Flex, we upgrade a lot of that technology like we talked about with the polymer modified packaging and the fiberglass mat engineering, which allows us to amplify that and still keep 160 mile an hour wind warranty, still keep a 25-degree install, still keep a Class 4 rating only because that's the highest that we can actually get validated because UL doesn't have Class 5 yet, but then go on top of that and add a HAIL warranty.
I'm a contractor in Alabama right now, and I get HAIL. Here or Texas, you pick your state. If everything that Chris says is true and is working, why is this a good thing for me? Because I get a lot of business by replacing damaged roof from hail. And it seems to me like we're going a little bit, I guess I think about that guy and I think about him saying, hey, I want a good product, Jon. You gave me a good product with Titan, but do I really want a great product like this? Because I'm making money on these hailstorms.
I think the industry is changing a lot. And we believe that innovation helps homeowners and contractors alike. Like, I think if you go out and you put a roof on, and I had somebody do that in a neighborhood recently that I was working with, and they sold the whole entire neighborhood because the year before they put a Stormfighter Flex on and that roof did not hell out. And every neighbor had a high deductible, and they were asking that homeowner, why did you not replace your roof and we have to pay another large deductible? And they sold 18 roofs off of it. So I think that, the current state of the industry, we've seen it year over year. Deductibles are getting higher. Insurance policies have, like, a lot of places tripled in the last 5 years for homeowners. I don't think it's a winning model. And I think we have to care about homeowners. I think good contractors truly care about innovation and what's best for the homeowner. And when you build a business off of those values.
Well, then talk to me a little bit about affordability in a time right now where I think all of us have seen where suppliers have sent out price increases. Is this product going to be something over the next year that's affordable for the middle-class family to be able to put onto their roof?
I think whenever you take into consideration, every time you have a hailstorm that hits your house, more than likely, in most cases, your premiums go up. That's the first call out. We have some third-party data that shows that realistically, you get 3 or 4 claims over, and a lot of places have. I know places have had 3 claims in 1 year. I mean, 3 storms back to back. I know in Colorado that's happened. Yeah. So if the idea is my insurance premium could triple over the next 7, 8, 10 years because we get a lot of hailstorms, if you take the savings over 20 years from that, plus these massive deductibles that I hear about every day, and add that up, looking at historic data on your property, it makes a lot of sense even for the middle class person.
With that in mind, has TAMKO, or are there any plans for TAMKO to approach carriers about discounts for a shingle like this going onto their roof? We see discounts for metal. Is it possible that in the future we could see discounts for a Class 4 and beyond type shingle like HAIL GAURD?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's natural to say that it could, for sure. And I think that's an opportunity, and really an opportunity that we think is worthwhile because it benefits the homeowner, right? And ultimately, because it benefits the homeowner, it can benefit the contractor. At the end of the day, what this product does is it de-risks things for insurance, right? And so there's a natural progression that if we can create a lower risk profile for them because we have a product that actually performs and can actually do what it says it's going to do, right? It's natural that that's going to provide value to the home or to the insurance companies because it lowers their risk profile for that home and for that area. as a result, they can provide value to the homeowner by providing things like you mentioned, premium, additional premium discounts beyond, what Class 4 would provide, lower deductibles, and in some cases, potentially being able to insure folks that would be previously uninsurable because the risk profile is too high. So, yeah, I think that's going to be part of the equation for sure. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both of your assessments. It's something needed to be done within the industry. If you don't improve the shingle that is out there, that industry is going to fade. You have to keep improving the product as other industry products like metal and even tiles have improved. The shingle product must continue to improve. Storms are coming in at a harder rate, greater intensity, and I think that it needs to improve. And it seems like TAMKO has made their attempt to do that. Now, with that in mind, you're not the only player in the game. There are obviously other manufacturers of shingles that are out there, and it feels to me like you caught them off guard right here. All of a sudden I open up my feed in Facebook and I see like 10 HAIL GAURD posts from different people. They are rating it, talking about it. It seems like you really caught other manufacturers flat-footed. Do you feel like you did? And number two, the follow-up question is, what do you think is going to happen in the industry over the next 6 months as they try to play catch up with you right now?
Yeah, I think the short answer is, it'll be interesting to see, right? I think we're really pleased with the feedback and the buzz that we've been able to get on the product and the reception that we've had. Not only with contractors, we've got a lot of direct feedback from homeowners saying, hey, where can I get this? How do I get this? Really excited about the proposition. And that's really where our focus is being able to, again, continuing to provide the performance and provide the value that we've talked about. But I think what you're talking to just speaks to really the fact that this is an industry first, right? It's the first and only asphalt shingle system backed by a HAIL warranty, and that is truly unique. And so, we anticipated that a bit when we launched it, and I think we're happy to see the feedback that we've gotten so far.
I'm going to ask this question. I don't mean it sarcastically at all, but is TAMKO actually leading the industry in technology for shingles? I think if you would have said a statement like that 5 years ago, Chris, Jon, somebody would have laughed at you. Now, you could make an argument that your line right now is the best shingle line in the country. It's a much different position to be at the front than it is to be playing from the back. How is TAMKO dealing with that now? Are there big heads walking around there? Or can you tell me that this is not going to be where it ends? I just want to make sure that, yeah, you've had some good runs right here, but that's where there's some problems that can always sneak in with companies that let their foot off the gas.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with the latter part of your statement. And, complacency kills, right? And so I'll tell you, just when we launched this, we were very excited, still very excited, continuing to push forward. But the immediate statement that I can tell you made to my team with product development and R&D is, guys, the development doesn't stop here, right? This is just the beginning. And so, I'll give you some insight. There were over 40 materials that we looked at in terms of how do we bring this product that is HAIL GAURD together, and what do we use, and what combinations, and what should that look like, right? So there are still a ton of materials out there that we continue to look at and say, hey, how do we continue to make this better? How do we continue to push the bounds, right? HAIL's one area. How do we continue to push the bounds of wind? Titan set a really high bar, we believe. And I appreciate your feedback. I would agree with you that I think, from a technological perspective and a performance capability perspective, leaps and bounds, right? And we strive to be the best at every level, right? That are good, are better, and our best offerings are better. Those are the ones that people are looking for and looking at within the industry as the benchmarks within those categories, right? And that every product is able to provide unique value to the contractor and the homeowner at each of those levels. And that's really where our heart is. We want to continue to push forward. So when I was saying earlier, our focus is high performance, innovation, and credibility. And that's really what led into the messaging that you're seeing about performance that protects. That's the background of what that means. We mean it. And that's where we continue to focus on moving forward.
Where did things change for this company? Because I wanted to, the elephant in the room is that there was a heritage line of products that people were questioning. It was questionable, fellas, at best. Yeah. All right. And I think that if everyone could just admit that, hey, listen, there was a place for that within the industry, but no one would say that that was the top of the industry at the time or even now. And I think it's a fair question to ask. Where did things change for TAMKO? Was it with the development of the Titan product? Was it some change in leadership that happened in the early 2020s, early 2020 or so? Where did the shift in TAMKO come from?
Yeah, no, I think what you're talking to is kind of where that happened, right? Listen, the reality of it is, and I can just speak bluntly as both an employee of TAMKO and someone who's on that team. We care. We truly care. We truly care about the products that we're making. We also truly care about our contractors and being able to grow their business, right? And we realized that where we were at in certain areas, in certain markets, and with certain performance, that we needed to do more, right? The feedback indicated that we were not meeting market demand, and we took that seriously, right? And like we talked about, that's really what drove that development from a product perspective with the Pro line, right? And one thing that I think is important for people to understand too is, yes, that drove the technological advance we see in Titan, in Flex, and HAIL GAURD. It drove everything up, but it also drove back down into heritage, right? And so the heritage that you see today is also advanced relative to those things. That's really what we mean by tri-shield technology when we talk about, what are the base three quality components that everything we offer needs to have? High quality asphalt, high quality sealant, high quality laminate, right? When you give any shingle to any roofer, what's the first thing they do? They rub the granules, they feel the sealant, and then they try to pull it at the common bond to see if their shoulder, it pops out trying to get that thing separated, right? And if it doesn't do that, I don't care what you tell them, it's not quality, right? I figured that out when we were going to all these events and trying to get feedback from the community, right? And that's really important. And so the short answer is the feedback drove what we're doing, but not just in the products. And Jon can speak probably more fluently to it, but it also drove the program, right? The upgrade revamp that we've done for the TAMKO Edge that we relaunched last year and continue to grow. Again, the focus there and how do we provide the most value that we can for contractors so that we can truly help them grow their business. We don't want that to just be marketing fluff. We truly want to help them grow, because the reality of it is, if they grow, we grow, and it makes sense. We should be aligned. And the best way for the two of us to do it is to do what's right by the homeowner and give them a quality product and a quality service and a quality installation. And that if that whole cycle and that whole triangle is happy, then we're doing good things. And that's where we want to be.
So sell me a little bit on this then, Jon, because there are people out there that have installed TAMKO shingles in the past. I'm not saying the Titan or Stormfighter, but they feel like they got the raw end of the deal installing the shingle because it didn't live up to what it said it was going to. And maybe their brand or their business caught some flack from it. Can you tell me right now that, this is a different company, this is a different product and a different program that is going to back up these contractors?
Yeah, so we revamped the whole program. We came out with better RTO, or right to offer enhanced warranties, to help protect the homeowner and to help the contractor to be more competitive in the marketplace. And again, the thing that I focus on the most is the product innovation. I mean, the innovation is real. I've got to be a part of that working with Chris. And I think that anybody that would have anything that negative to say about TAMKO has probably not really got in and tried our products and seen the difference.
And Patrick, if I can just add one point from, my perspective on that I think is important, speaking to kind of what you're saying. From TAMKO's perspective, from my perspective, bringing in folks like a John Abernathy, like true industry leaders, folks that had 20 plus years in the industry, really know their craft, really know the business, really understand what contractors deal with, good, bad, or, the ugly type of deal. He really helped to be a voice for us to understand the business from an entirely different perspective, right? And that's a really critical voice. And that's frankly one of the main reasons we were so excited to have Jon on board. And he has really enabled us to see things that we didn't see in the past, because we didn't have his type of voice helping us understand what really matters in certain cases, right? And be able to have that contractor point of view as we're building out our products, as we're building out our programs, and we're building out how we're going to do business to really help, again, be contractor focused is our primary, customer base again. So I think having folks like John Abernathy on the team has been tremendous in allowing us to really reach where we're at today.
I love it. I have a final question, maybe for both of you, but I'd like to know what comes next now. What comes next for the TAMKO? You've now come out and caught the rest of the industry on their heels, coming out with a HAIL warranty on a product and perhaps the superior shingle now that there is in roofing. What do you do next? Do you keep on improving the program, Jon? Chris, do you keep on going back to R&D to make it better? Where do you go now that you've got this out, where I think we're now a couple of days into this product being distributed? What happens next?
I think the short answer is yes to both, right? I will say this, and TAMKO's been around 80 plus years, and our history has always been on continuous improvement, starting with Deming, continue with Six Sigma, moved into AI. We are a continuous improvement focused company, right? So we never want to stop. Like we talked about earlier, complacency kills. And so how do we continue to get better every day, get better for our products, get better for our processes that make them, and better for our programs that provide benefit and value to contractors. So we can, the next step is we plan on continuing to push all three of those like we have forward, right? We're never happy with where we are. We're only happy with where we can be. And yeah, that will look like new products in the future, continued improvement on the products we have, continuing to build a program that provides value to contractors and helps them to truly grow their business. We're excited to be able to do that.
I would just tell the industry, stay tuned, stay alert, pay attention to what we're doing. We're not even close to done. I mean, I can say that with confidence. A lot of big things coming. And I'm really, really just excited to be part of this team.
I'll tell you, you all have been the talk of the town. When I get online, every time I feel like I open up my feed, there's something else coming from a John Cenac or a John Broche or whoever else it might be out there, the public adjusters of the world talking about this product. Steve Patrick, I saw talking about what, some of his experience with it. You've touched a note in the industry that I think a lot of manufacturers were afraid to. You all stepped up and did something I think very special. And when you do something special, people are going to talk about it, good and bad. It's always going to be that way, but people are definitely going to talk about it. They're not going to ignore it. And you can't ignore TAMKO anymore. That's for sure. You got one hell of a line of a product, and a lot of it is thanks to you two right there. And I appreciate the opportunity for y'all to sit down and take a few minutes with me today and tell us a little bit about it. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate the time.
I appreciate it. Until next time, everybody, the Patrick Carr Show. Description below. Find some new videos, stuff like that. Check us out. See you next time.